Welcome back. This is inspired by reading Mary Prince's narrative, and here's a quote from that. All the slaves said that death was a good thing for poor Hetty, but I cried very much for her. Black people in the diaspora retain many of their West African ancestors' view about death, as well as elements of their ceremonial practices. For example, most West African traditions viewed death as a vehicle which transitioned them to the afterlife, nothing to fear. In Sinofo Tagba of West Africa, there are three primary elements of the funeral ceremony. First, the village leaders are told of the death, and the owner of the village or the oldest member of the founder's family is given symbolic payment for the land needed to bury the person. 3 cowrie shells for a man, 4 cowrie shells for a woman. I don't know the reason for the difference. Land ownership was not allowed during enslavement, so this part of the ritual would not have been retained. Second, the deceased is prepared and cleaned and wrapped in plain clothes. Offerings of blankets are made to the deceased. A special locally grown cereal is symbolically fed to the dead. In Black diasporic culture, the dressing of the body and the feeding of the living are important aspects of the burial ritual, so I'm seeing a retention of those values. Third, a procession carries the deceased to the grave. On the way, offerings of coins and cowrie are made to the dead. Dirges or death songs are sung, and significant speeches are made about the person's life and how the living felt about the person's death. Sounds like a Black funeral to me. In Jamaica specifically, the enslaved were allowed to maintain their African burial customs and were noted to make adaptations. The funeral ritual is based on the belief that people have 3 aspects: body, spirit, and duppy or ghost. At death, the body expires. The spirit goes back to God or to Africa to be with the ancestors with messages of love for the loved ones. But the duppy will remain and harm the living if not given the appropriate respect during the funeral ceremony. Hence, the funeral is to help the spirit and the duppy get to their destinations. In keeping with this, there's a ritual or celebration called the 9 Nights, which is believed to be based on the view that it takes 9 nights for the dead to return to West Africa. So again, these are called African retentions. Thanks for listening.